And once again, let's applaud to beseech for the precious Buddha Dharma transmission. First, according to the custom, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zeng Kung. And homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Dorji. Let's pay homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of the water offering ceremony today, the White Lotus King. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today, the academician Zhu Siyi and his wife, Mr. Daniel Liao and his wife, Mr. Zheng Peifu and his wife, and Mr. Zhuo Zhongshan, Mr. Lu Wenxiang, Mr. Luo Reliang, and Ms. Huang Yeqing. Attendees, Dharma Sister Teresa, Mr. Kenneth Loy and wife, Mr. Lee Hai An from Malaysia and wife, Dr. Zheng Senlong, Dharma Sister Mo Baoqiong and Mr. Cao Guizi. And from the scholars group, all the professors and doctors, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, and friends and relatives of Grandmaster and Simu, and many other distinguished guests who have not registered themselves. Thank you for coming. So the topic today is the deity yoga Dharma practice, or the sadhana of the White Lotus King. And prior to that, I would like to first say my greetings. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Thank you. The fact that we can have such a grand ceremony here today Master Lian Xing said there are 30,000 participants here. There are 6 times this hall. There are 6 halls of this size. So the fact that we can organize such a grand ceremony is due to Master Lian Xing from the Lian Feng chapter of Hong Kong. Thank you. She beseeched me to preside over this ceremony. I would also like to thank all the temples, chapters, and centers, as well as the volunteers from the Hong Kong and Macau area, and volunteers from all over the world. For a ceremony of this magnitude, we definitely need lots of help. So thank you very much for all your help and efforts. Second, we should also offer our gratitude to the countries. Just now, I mentioned about prosperities free from disasters, including for mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. Today, the power of China is increasing all the time. That it is considered number one, or one of the best in the world, one of the greatest country in the world. And for myself personally, that my ancestor came from Fujian, and my granddad is called Lu Yiwen from Longyang in Fujian, and my grandfather is Lu Chang. He came from Hunyang, from Fujian to Kinmen, and from Kinmen to Penghu, and then from Penghu to Jiayi. So my origin is from Fenyang in Fujian province, and my great-grandfather is called Lu Yiwen, my great-father is called Lu Chang, and my father was called Lu Ersun, and the son of Lu Ersun is called Lu Sengyan. So the prosperity and power for the country. So that's the gratitudes given by the country. When I was 38, I immigrated to United States in 1982, June 16. So Lu Seng-yen immigrated from Taiwan to Seattle. So this is the path of our immigration from Fujian to Jinmen or Kinmen to Penghu Ma Gong and then to Taiwan. And then I immigrated to Seattle, America. When I just got there were very few Chinese. Whenever we heard Chinese or Mandarin Chinese, we would be very surprised. So speaking Mandarin Chinese, we would feel very close to them. And then we would start chatting and becoming friends. Now China is very powerful. As a Chinese, we feel very honored and proud. So Chinese nowadays are different. Because the country origin, my country origin, is becoming powerful. So we are very pleased now that when we see white Americans are the same. And so we see each other eye to eye. We are both number one. So it's different now. Because Americans can't differentiate between Chinese or Japanese, Korean. They treat all of them as Chinese or Eastern people from the East. But the country that we look up to is becoming more and more powerful. And allow all the overseas Chinese to feel different. So I wish the best for mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. That they all can unite and with the same hearts and minds and power. So the overseas Chinese also feel proud to be Chinese. Every time I give Dharma teaching, I always mention, I'm always mindful of my own lineage gurus. I always hold my lineage gurus on top of my head because they taught me Tantric Buddha Dharma. So prior to my Dharma teachings, I always pay homage to my 4 lineage gurus. The first is the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. He is from Sichuan. Second was Master Sakya Zengkong, the Zhong Rinpoche. He was a Tibetan from the Sakya sect. There are two patriarchs in the Sakya sect. One is Trichin, and the other one is Takchin. And Takchin Guru is in Seattle. So his niece Takchin's wife is Master Sakya Zengkong's niece. So Master Sakya Zengkong is our lineage guru from the Sakya school of Tibetan Buddhism. And then the 16th Dharma king, His Eminence Karmapa. And Karmapa is a Dharma king from the Kagyu school. And the fourth guru is from Caozhou, Teochew. And Caozhou is from Fujian, between Fujian and Guangdong. Or is it Guangdong? Caozhou is from Guangdong province. So Master Dupten Tarji, he was my last guru in the Tantrayana. So I always uphold these four gurus on top of my head. Actually, these four gurus are also Chinese. And this morning, I would like to offer gratitude to the great monk Guo Xian from the Huixian Temple of Hong Kong. Now it's afternoon, right? So this morning we had breakfast together. When we were together, the main temple of True Buddha School, the Seattle Lechang Temple, was mostly supported by the great monk Guo Xian. So the greatest support was provided by the great monk Guo Xian. He's a Cantonese and he lived in Hong Kong, Huixian Temple. So he is my guru who shaved my head, and he is younger than I am. He is in his 60s and I'm 71. So first he took refuge in me and then he shaved my head. So all the ordained Sangha members of True Buddha School came from the great monk Guo Xian. He deserves respect and honor. So the great monk Guo Xian first took refuge in me first, but then he was the guru who ordained me. So he was also my disciple and my guru. So also a disciple and also a guru. In Buddha Dharma, I am his guru, but in ordination, he is my guru. So True Buddha School today has about over 600 monks and nuns, and they all came from the great monk Guo Xian. These few days, we have a very busy schedule. We woke up really early. Like in Taiwan, we had to get on the high-speed rail to Taoyuan International Airport. And last night, we didn't get back to our hotel until about midnight. And just getting ready, and it's already 1 a.m. As soon as I closed my eyes, oh heaven, like today, people all over the place in my room. Is my room as big as this? Of course not. However, all these human beings become as small as mosquitoes. Tens of thousands of them in front of my eyes. And I recited the heart mantras of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to deliver them. All of them are spirits from the spirit worlds. I recited all the heart mantras. I chanted mantras all night, continually, until all the mosquitoes disappeared. But there are some who could not disappear. There were many mosquitoes who could not disappear. So the mosquitoes said, I died from car accidents. I died from ship accidents. And you are my guru. How will you save us? At that time, I did not know how to save them. I used the Manjushri's mantra. I recited the deliverance mantra. I recited Manjushri mantra, deliverance mantra, then they still stayed. So how can I bardo deliver you? I had to take it over upon my body. Okay, I close my eyes and hit by cars. Many cars passed through my body. And I fell into the ocean and drank ocean water and lost consciousness. My whole body was burned by fire, drowned in water, submerged in water, hit by cars, fell from high mountains, and broke to pieces. So in the short few hours at night, I fell asleep at 2 a.m. and woke up by 4 a.m. And in these 2 hours, I was hit by cars, trains, drowned in water, couldn't breathe, burned in fire, and I bled and suffered from this accident. And I woke up by 4 a.m. I started to perform my morning practice until 6 a.m. And Simu made the morning call. Actually, I woke up at 2 a.m. I did not stop. All night I did not sleep. Last night, that's because of the deliverance of all the ancestors and relatives of all beings. The registrants. So Grandmaster says that Grandmaster doesn't have to take over the suffering of all beings. If we say there is no taking over, that's wrong, but actually there is taking over. And once I take over the sufferings, I transform them into emptiness and pass them on to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Little did I know that there were many who died from accidents, so I had to take them over. So I don't dare to say that I am a bodhisattva. However, I have been able to be like what Confucius said. One is to be loyal and to be forgiving. So by performing Bardo deliverance, it's forgiving all sentient beings because all sentient beings are equal, and then I take all their sufferings over myself. Today, the White Lotus King is the second king of the Shambhala Pure Land or Shangri-La. And Shangri-La is a secret Pure Land. And the first king was Manjushri Bodhisattva. And the White Lotus King composed the untinted light treatise. And the White Lotus King is also Padma Kumara, the Lotus Youth. They are inseparable. Let me tell you, there is a secret here. Where is Shangri-La? Where is Shambhala, the Pure Land? Let me tell you. Is the Tangxiang mountain of the Xixia dynasty. So please check where is the Tangxiang mountain. the Tangxiang Mountain. Let me tell you, the most secret Tangxiang Mountain, about Tangxiang Mountain, that inside it there is a really big cave, underground cave, and all of it is in the shape of lotus, divided into 8 directions. They're all in the shape of lotus. So north, south, east, west, and at the center a lotus and a palace. And the White Lotus King is the second king of Shangri-La, Pure Land. And inside it, they are all spiritual cultivators. So our gathering today is like a family gathering. It's the same as a family gathering. So we are not related, but why do we say that it is a family gathering? But do you know that anyone having affinity with living Buddha Lian Seng or with True Buddha School, anyone taking refuge, is the same as family members. So we are all one family. So this is like a clan gathering. Well, you may say that some people live in Macau, Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, many countries, Thailand, many countries. Why do we say that we are one clan? Because only with affinity we gather together. Without affinity, I have noted one of my paintings that with affinity we gather together, without affinity we go separate ways. But with the puff of breeze, we send the birds flying away. So of course with affinity we gather together. But in Buddhism we say that we just follow our destiny. So the fact that today we gather together here, that means we have affinity with each other. So we have affinity with the Shambhala, Pure Land. We have affinity with White Lotus King. We have affinity with Sakyamuni Buddha. We have affinity with living Buddha Lian Sheng, Seng Yen Lu. Affinity plays a key part in studying Buddhism. Someone by the Pan family name met an Indian. And the Indian said, it's not right to eat using chopsticks. It is the best way to eat is using hands. And you can catch anything with hands. It makes sense. So that's why Mr. Pan took the Indian to eat hot pot. So, you know, Chinese use chopsticks. Anyone using chopsticks have affinity with each other. Koreans use chopsticks. Japanese use chopsticks. Hong Kongese also use chopsticks. People from Macau also use chopsticks. Taiwanese also use chopsticks. Chinese from mainland China also use chopsticks. So, anyone having the custom of using chopsticks are related. So, are we one family with the Koreans? Yes, of course. It's just bordered by a river. So Shila, Cao Xian, they are the descendants of Ciyu Si. Ciyu and the emperor were in battle, and Ciyu lost, and they retreated into the Korean peninsula. Actually, Koreans were also Chinese. They were descendants of Ciyu, and because the Yellow Emperor won over Ciyu, but they said that Ciyu won over the Yellow Emperor, and Ciyu was very kind and compassionate and gave the land to Yellow Emperor, and they retreated to the Korean peninsula. But we say that Yellow Emperor won over Ciyu, and Ciyu retreated into the Korean peninsula and became Koreans. They use iron bowls and iron chopsticks. Slight differences. The Japanese are also Chinese. The Taoist Sifu took 3,000 boys and 3,000 girls across the ocean. Do you know this history? During the Qin Si Huang. That's the correct answer. So there's prize. Go to Lian Feng chapter and ask for a prize from Master Lian Xing. So Qin Si Huang, the emperor, sent Sifu to take 3,000 boys and 3,000 girls across the ocean to Japan. So the tomb of Sifu is in Japan, and the 3,000 boys and 3,000 girls became Japanese. So Japanese is also Chinese. Japan belongs to China. So why are we fighting over the Diao Yitai island? They belong to China all over, all along. So let me tell you that Japan also belongs to China. So we have a Nihon Sensei here, a Japanese master here. Please stand up. Nice meeting you. Let's go. He is a master from Hokkaido, Japan. And Master Jingxiang, she's in Osaka, southern part of Osaka, established the True Buddha School temple. But she's localized Japanese, so Chinese, but naturalized as Japanese. And she has a Japanese name, which is a nice name. I remember a joke. Someone marries a Japanese wife, so he never told his wife's name, and people kept asking, but he just insisted of not telling. And finally, a good friend said, if you don't tell us your wife's name, then we would never want to become your friends again. Okay, let me tell you my wife's name. This is a play of words of Chinese. It sounds like a beautiful Japanese name, but in Chinese it could mean like not wearing underpants. But let me tell you, this name is also Chinese. So the Qin Shi Huang sent Sifu to Japan and Korea. And Vietnam in ancient time was called An Nan. Also, people from Guangxi province immigrated there. So China was very expansive, and now the country is also getting powerful. So as Chinese, we also feel proud. So we are all one family. So once you have fruition in this White Lotus King Dharma practice, you would become a Padma Kumara, Lotus youth. I have said that Buddha natures are the same. So although now there are differences among us, but we are the most fortunate that in the future, each one of us, when we attain Buddhahood, we would all be called the Lotus Light Buddhas, all the same, no differences. Although there are differences in names now, but actually all of us are Padma Kumara. Once you have attainments in the White Lotus King Dharma, you would go to the Buddha lands. In Buddhism, there is the three time treatise of Atisha, and Guru Tsongkhapa wrote the treatise of the development stages of Tantric exposition, which was composed from Atisha's lamp to enlightenment. And that's for direct Buddhahood and Bodhisattvahood. That's the upper mastery. And the middle mastery is to the Buddha land. And the lower mastery is go to heavens, to the realm of desire, realm of form, and realm of no form. So that's like 3 masteries. The highest mastery is Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The middle mastery is to the Buddha lands, and the lower mastery is to the heavenly realms. So the future will be brighter for all of us. As long as you cultivate spiritually, your future will be brighter. Third, all your mothers, fathers, and family members from all past lives would be liberated. Like last night, in order to preside over the White Lotus King water offering grand ceremony today, all the registrants, the ancestors, and all that were registered came to me. And for the whole night, I had to bardo deliver all of them completely. And in the morning, when I woke up, I could not take in any food. I had breakfast with the great monk Guo Xian. I only ate cheese. In Chinese, it's like I only took in cheese and water, and also for lunch I didn't eat any food. For lunch I also ate some cheese, crackers and water. And in the morning I received offerings of hatha from 2,000 people, and afterward I presided over the ceremony and now giving Dharma teaching. So I'm very healthy. I am still very strong, full of stamina. Spiritual cultivators eat air. But recently, the quality of the air is bad, so we cannot even eat air. So all we can eat is cheese. But in Chinese, it also sounds like air. One day, the son came home and told his dad, I only got 58 in my test. And Dad said, if you don't pass tomorrow, please don't call me Dad. And the next day, the son came home and said, oh, Mister, sorry, this is the score of my test today. So let me tell you, I don't lie, that Sang Yen Lu in elementary school also was always last in class. And in junior high, I stayed in the same class twice. So any of you who stay in the same class, it's okay, because Grandmaster too was like that. So I stayed in the same class in junior high. And then I moved to a different school where everybody used to stay in the same class. So I became number one. I became the head there. Because everybody else was worse than I was. So those who stayed in the same class in Chinese were called all eggs, like jerks, bastards, and all the bad people. But in Chinese, they all end with egg. And I was one of those eggs, rotten eggs. And knowing that everybody was really in bad shape, I gained confidence over time. So my performance in high school getting better. And in high school, in senior high school, I scored first in class all the time. So you should learn from me. Although at first you didn't have power in your spiritual cultivation, but eventually one day you would gain power in your spiritual cultivation and would have attainments. So I started from the worst to become the best. So see, what is the best today? If you practice the White Lotus King Dharma, you would attain the wisdom of the Tathagatas, of the Buddhas. This is also someone cried waking up in the morning, John. And the grandma cried in the morning upon waking up. And Dad asked why. And Grandma said, I was dreaming of my husband. Oh, it's about ancestors' day. Oh, the grandpa was thinking of us. And the son said, oh, we are also missing him. And Grandma said, please don't take your son to go to the cemetery. Why? Oh, because the grandson didn't burn the spirit papers for the granddad, but instead to burn his homeworks. So I still am working on it. So it's okay if you don't do well in school. You just follow Grandmaster and I will teach you to attain the wisdom of the Tathagata. This is also a joke about kid. So me, the little sister went to the big sister's house, and the big sister was beating her child. Why? Why are you beating your child? Oh, because he's lying. But why did you lie? You know, he told this teacher, oh, my aunt is dying, so I have to take time off to see her. And the little sister said, okay, let me beat him now. As a bodhisattva, if someone is suffering from disasters, although it is unrelated to us, we still have to help them. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are the same. The wisdom of the Tathagata is also the same. You know, you cannot say, it's none of my business. Why did I want to be hit by cars for 2 hours and drowned in water and burned by fire? Just because although they are ancestors of other people, I treat them as my own ancestors because we are all descendants of Yen Huang. So is it your business? Of course. So the Yen Emperor and Huang Emperor, and the Yen Emperor is Sen Nong, and the Yellow Emperor is Xian Yansi. So True Buddha School are really descendants of Xian Yansi. We have the Yellow Emperor Temple in Taiwan that enshrine Xian Yansi. We are all descendants of this legends. Of course, not everyone. There are people from Australia or Europe or Americans or Canadians. We also have some Caucasians here today. So they are not descendants from Yen Huang, because the descendants of the Yen Huang are very embracing. We have this saying that all people, so from all the continents and oceans, are brothers. And 500 years ago, we are one family. So we are very embracing. Only Chinese is so embracing. We are all brothers and sisters. So the descendants of Yen Huang are incredible these days too. By practicing the White Lotus King Dharma, fifth, if you are in the human world, then you would become the great Prajna Dharma King, the one with great wisdom. We have the little girl Li Qi from Malaysia. She's 9 years old. And at 9 years old, she's already giving Dharma teaching and helping sentient beings. Where are you? Li Qi. Where are you, Li Qi? Please come to the altar. She's 9 years old. Give her a microphone, please. Microphone, please. No microphone? The little girl, Li Qi, how old are you? Look at her face. She looks like an actress from Hong Kong, Taiwan. Su Qi. Look at her face. Does she look at like Su Qi? Microphone. Please come up here and share my Dharma throne. Ichi, how many people have you brought to the ceremony today? 20. The people you brought here are little kids like you? No, adults. How could a little girl deliver adults? Oh, because of Grandmaster. She's also a Lotus youth, a Padma Kumara. A little girl delivered 20 people and come to the ceremony. This is incredible. This is incredible, amazing, remarkable. Right, Li Qi? I don't know. What Dharma did you teach them? What Dharma did you say to them? A lot of Dharma. You know of a lot of Dharma? She has an altar. She has an altar in her own room and she practices every day. At 9 years old, she practices every day. And she made 20 people to follow Buddhist path and they come to the ceremony today. Also in Taiwan. Her home is in Malaysia. There are also some people in Taiwan that I made them follow Buddhist path, but they have no more plane tickets, so thank you. So your parents are great. See, a 9-year-old can make 20 people come to the ceremony. Thank you. So in the human world, you would become the Mahaprajna Dharma King. And Li Qi in the future would be remarkable. This is also the Prajna Dharma King. And you would have transcendental power and Ren Yun and subjugate the Mara and demons. It's over 1 hour. I haven't even started talking about the Dharma. A woman asked the Great Master, I'm so beautiful and tons of men always follow me, inviting me for dinner, tickets for movies, and I cannot say no. So what should I do? And the great master didn't say anything, just poured water over her head. And the woman said, "Oh, I understand. You want me to be as cool as the water and be as pure and clean to treat it." No, it's not that profound. Just take off the cosmetics. Then, whether you're beautiful or not, it depends. Once you take off your makeup, then you're like ghost. But all the ladies of True Buddha school, all ladies and gentlemen of True Buddha school are all very kind-hearted and good-hearted. After studying Buddhism, we are all very wise and kind, and we would have transcendental power, Ren Yun, and subjugate all the demonic obstructions. Actually, demonic obstructions are the afflictions in your heart, and also obstructions due to what you know, to the knowledge that you know become obstructions or hindrances to spiritual cultivation. And actually the demons or maras are also from your heart. So if you subjugate your own heart, then you would gain transcendental power and Ren Yun. So once you open your central channel, you ignite your inner fire and your light drops drip. Then you open your heart chakra, and of course you would gain transcendental power and Ren Yun. So it is okay even for Grandmaster to... You know, one time at the great football stadium in Hong Kong, does it still exist now? No more? It does? Still exists? Exists or not? So exists is the same as doesn't exist. When I was presiding over ceremony in that football stadium in Hong Kong, I didn't eat for 5 days in order to show my transcendental power. Those who were chair-bound could stand up. Cancers disappeared from brains and heads upon empowerments. Do we have witnesses here? Yes. Master Lien Man is here. He's speaking Cantonese. His nephew had a tumor in his head and disappeared upon receiving empowerments. How? And children on wheelchairs for 3 years, they stood up and could walk and jump and run. At that time, I starved for 5 days. I vomited upon taking a bite. So, how did I sustain myself? By taking watermelon juice for 5 days. I was drowsing for 5 days. And I was like floating when I walk. I floated to the Dharma throne. And at that time in Hong Kong, it was 3 or 4 degrees. And it was raining hard. We were soaking wet. And presiding over the ceremony of Guru Padmasambhava Homa, fire offering ceremony. If you attended, please raise your hand. There were many who attended. So you witnessed people standing up from wheelchairs and walking. And the mute started to speak. And the blind started to see. Tumors disappeared suddenly. At that time, at that ceremony. I was befuddled and drowsing for 5 days and nights. I couldn't eat anything. I just drank watermelon juice. So you would be able to gain transcendental power and subjugate the 4 Maras. And you would also gain self-mastery and radiance. You would be untainted and radiant. Let me tell you what it means to be untainted. So the book written by the White Lotus King was called the Untainted or Uncontaminated Radiance Treatise. The time always turns. The past is gone. It will never return. The present will become the past. And the future will become the present. And the present will become the past. Do you believe that you're just you in this life? You have many lives, so you're an ancient being, and you're also the present being, and you would also become the future being if you stay in the human world. But the past has passed. Over the timeline, there were so many that have passed. From the ancient time, the emperors, the sages, the rich, the heroes have all passed. And now we are talking about the Dharma, and the present will become the past. It is impossible to have the same people gathering together, listening to Seng Yen Lu talking about the same thing. This will become the past. And the future will become the present, and the present becomes the past. And all the people since the ancient times will become history, to become untainted. So the only thing that exists is Buddha nature, the brightness, the radiance. Once we attain Buddhahood in our spiritual cultivation, that would exist eternally. That would be eternal. So the only things that exist is the Buddha nature. All the material world will disappear. So there's only one statement about human life. Human life is like talking on the phone. If you don't hang up first, I hang up first. But hang up in Chinese also means die. So we would all die. Today, I can be seated here calling myself the old man because I'm already in my 70s. And Confucius died in his 70s, and I have reached 70s. in a moment I would also leave. But today I am still seated here with great health. At this time, you would gain self-mastery. Nothing matters, of course. Why do you want to keep anything in your heart? You're making troubles for yourself. Actually, in this world, there are no troubles. Because if you don't die, I die. If you don't die first, I die first. What's so big deal about it? So the great monk Lao Chin said that no coming, no going, and no problems. Is there any problems? Of course not. So please don't pour any problems upon yourself. Instead, take out all the garbage and throw them out. Forget them all. Then you become one with self-mastery. You're one without cares. You have no afflictions, no sufferings. And today, I teach you by practicing the White Lotus King Dharma, and I wrote it in my book. And there's a practice procedure there. So I only talk about the attainments by performing this practice. So do you want to practice it? Of course, right? Right? Yes. Yes? Is it good? Yes. Om Mani Padme Hum.